Our next guest is a faculty member of PolyU School of Design and leader of Research in Competition and Exhibition Laboratory. He researches across the fields of public space, exhibition practice, creative industry, and the Pearl River Delta. Please welcome Alvin Yip.
About a week ago, I received this program from a friend here in BIlbao, saying that I'm speaking after Mr. Philip Stark. And I was wondering, what should I do? There's no way that I should present my own design work in comparison to Philip Stark. So today, I would actually wear another hat of mine, not so much as a designer, architect, or a teacher in the school, but to talk about another practice that I quite enjoy and hopefully to share some of the insights I have from Asia with you here in BIlbao. So my other practice is as a curator, as an independent curator, not so much attached to a museum, but launching individual independent projects. So today, I would like to briefly go through some of the small and large projects that I have been involved with in the last 5 years or so. So let's start here. Obviously, this could be anywhere. And one could call this a tabula rasa. Here, this is Shanghai, 2007, probably July in 2007. And this is actually the Shanghai World Expo site. So it was some 30 months before the expo opened to the world. And basically, nothing was there, not a single expo building. And then in 2 years' time or so, that we have what? We have 328 hectares, so over 3 million square meters of land all of a sudden with, I don't know, 100, 200 pavilions pop up. And that is kind of the velocity, the speed, the scale, the massiveness that's going on now in China. Shanghai is, of course, one of those, but we have hundreds of cities competing along the same velocity, one could say. And imagine, I'm sure a lot of you either designing yourself or you're commissioning design or learning about design. So imagine yourself given a task within this kind of context. You can say also there's no context here because it was an empty land and then all of a sudden everyone built up something and you were probably given half a year of construction time, and then you have this huge task to represent your country to build a national pavilion. So let's see what people do over there. It's supposed to be the world showcase. So we saw some colors, a lot of objects, sometimes patterns, typography. This is the Korean pavilion done by a good friend, Misuk, and screenings, maybe. I'm sure a lot of you were there, and then remember a lot of these. Surprisingly or not surprisingly, as I said, it's a showcase for all the creative talents around the world. But at the end of the day, we probably, BIM doesn't work, but you can see from the left-hand side in that image, everyone is working on that, I would say 90% of the pavilions. We're working on that 10 centimeters of innovation, and that's all. Everyone built a box, and then either paint or put some patterns or colors on top of it. And that's the expo. What's wrong with it? So one could say that those were already in the 21st century. We have to admit that most of us are pretty superficial, and superficiality is still the norm. At least that's what we have seen in this big event called World Expo. Coming to where I live and work now, Asia, Of course, there are a number of countries. Thailand, for instance, well, they were pretty smart. They thought that let's forget about the box and then move something from the museum here. Traditional motifs and symbols. And then Nepal, Pakistan, they're all doing this. And then one could wonder, well, World Expo is supposed to be a perfect platform for you to show new ideas. So how could they repeat these kind of pavilions every time? It's not going to be long last. So some other countries thought that, okay, let's think into the future and then create something. And then we sometimes have some ambiguous, difficult situations going on. For instance, one might remember this is a project called the Saudi Arabia Pavilion, it is, and then it's called the Moonship. And it's quite a poetic name, the moon boat or the moonship. But after a while, you thought that, oh, there's something wrong. You have excuse me. You have a ship with legs, stainless steel legs, and then you have some palm trees on top. It doesn't look like a boat anymore. And then its neighbor, Alvin, also trying to create this pavilion, relating itself to the sea. Of course, it's along the shoreline. And they also try to create a boat using this steel and glass structure. After they've built it, it doesn't look so much like a boat. So let's add a little pond of water right around it. And then maybe some ropes, and then a little anchor, and a little fountain around it, so that it looks more like a ship. And that is what we call national pavilions. I would say that most of the Asian countries nowadays still encounters this difficulty of how to represent their culture. I want to say that they are both confident and not too confident in creating something a little bit more specific, a little bit more having character, one could say, characteristic. So this is the challenge that we are facing. Okay, then we look at those who are probably regarded as the most ambitious country in the World Expo. On the left-hand side, most of you might know that Thomas Heatherwick, he was given a very simple brief by the UK government to, well, it doesn't matter what you do, the government say, but it has to be the top 5 in the World Expo. And basically, Thomas has done it with that spiky pavilion. And then on the right-hand side, probably the Chinese government said that it has to be number 1. So they go the very kind of along the very simple way to achieve that goal is to create the biggest pavilion. So the right-hand side, the red creature, you can see, probably you can compare the 2 pavilions with the scale of human. And then that's China pavilion. You can see basically human disappeared in our culture or in our design. I don't know whether that's problematic, but that's kind of the mentality we have at the moment in China. So of course we could rewind a bit and then see all these ambitious moves during World Expo. Probably we are still, Chinese are still a little bit in the 19th century. So we're probably competing with these kind of symbols, of course back then symbolizing the industrial age. If you look at other advancement, remember in the 60s, people already talking about imagination about the space, Buckminster Fuller, and then year 2000, Hanover, that most of us has come across the Dutch pavilion by BIlbao, talking about human in the city, and then something about the future. As you know, it's called the Seas Cathedral. So I think